Hello friends, welcome to my video. Today I am going to talk about JSON serialization and deserialization process in C#.NET. We'll see how many options do we have for JSON serialization in C#.NET, and one by one we will learn all. So before we get started, just a quick reminder to subscribe my channel, hit the red button and don't forget to click on the little bell icon. That way you will be notified every time I upload a new video. Okay, without any further delay, let's get started. Serialization and deserialization in C#. In my previous videos of 3 main serialization technology in C#, we talked about serialization and deserialization process in detail. You may watch those videos later to learn data contract serialization, XML serialization and runtime serialization. However, I give just overview here about what is serialization and deserialization process. Serialization is the process of converting an object into a stream of bytes to store the object or transmit it to a memory, a database or a file. The reverse process is called deserialization. Okay, let's understand it with the help of diagram shown over here. So here there is an object that needs to be converted to a byte of strings. So how we can convert it? That's where serialization concept comes into the picture. So serialization helps us in converting an object into a stream of bytes that can be written into memory, database or file. And its reverse process called as deserialization, where we take the data from a stream and convert it into an object. The main purpose of serialization deserialization is to save the state of an object in order to be able to recreate it when needed. So that's the basic funda of serialization and deserialization. What is JSON? Before having a look at the JSON serialization, deserialization process, we learn first what is JSON and then we move into its serialization process. So JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. It's a lightweight text-based open standard designed for human-readable data interchange. Okay, so how to write JSON? In order to write JSON, we need to adhere the guideline for writing JSON. Number 1, data is represented in name-value pairs. Number 2, curly braces hold objects and name value pair is written as name colon value. Note, for a string value it comes within quotation. If it is number or boolean, we don't need to put value into quotation. Number 3, the name value pairs are separated by comma. Number 4, square brackets hold arrays, list, etc. Let's try to understand with the help of examples shown over here. JSON text starts with opening curly braces and ends with closing curly braces. That means it is going to hold objects properties. So properties we write in name value pair. So that's why I wrote order ID colon 1, order date colon 11/9/2022, 11:56:44, right? Then items properties, which is going to hold array object, and that's why its value starts with the square bracket over here, right? And it contains two objects, object 1 and object 2. Object 1, where it has ID is equal to 1, name is equal to pencil, price is equal to 20, quantity is equal to 5. And the second object contains ID is equal to 2, name is equal to biscuit, price is equal to 50 and quantity is equal to 2. So that's the way how we write JSON. Now we look into the JSON data type that it supports. It supports 6 types of data type: number, which is integer or floating point, a string, boolean, array, object and null. Now we have learned what is JSON, what is the guideline for writing the JSON, what is the JSON data type. Now we will learn about the uses of the JSON. So number 1, primarily used to transmit data between a server and a web application. Number 2, used for serializing and transmitting a structured data over a network connection. Number 3, used in web services and APIs to provide public data. Number 4, used with modern programming language. Now we have basic idea about JSON. Let's learn now about JSON serialization. JSON serialization, deserialization in C#.NET. In C#.NET, we have 3 options by which we can do JSON serialization and deserialization. Number 1, DataContractJsonSerializer class. We use its write object method for serialization and read object method for deserialization. Number 2, JSON Serializer class of System.Text.Json. So we use its serialize and deserialize method for serialization and deserialization synchronously. Serialize async and deserialize async for serialization and deserialization asynchronously. So in order to use JSON Serializer class, we need to use this namespace, System.Text.Json. Number 3, JSON Convert and JSON Serializer class from Newtonsoft.Json, which is a popular third-party JSON framework. We have two options in Newtonsoft.Json. One using JSON Convert class, so we use its Serialize object method and deserialize object method for serialization and deserialization. It is best suited for the simple scenario. 2. JSON Serializer class. We use its serialize and deserialize method for serialization and deserialization. It's best suited for the complex scenario. As it's a third-party library, so we need to add Newtonsoft.Json library from NuGet Manager and then add Newtonsoft.Json namespace in order to use its class and methods. JSON serialization, deserialization using DataContractJsonSerializer. We have to follow just 6 steps for JSON serialization, deserialization using DataContractJsonSerializer. Step 1. We need to add System.Runtime.Serialization library as a reference to the project. Step 2. Add following namespaces: System.Runtime.Serialization, System.Runtime.Serialization.Json. Step 3. Add data contract attribute to classes and data member attributes to class properties. Step 4. Create an object of the data contract JSON serializer. Step 5. We use write object method to serialize an object to a stream. Step 6. We use read object method to deserialize an object from a JSON stream. So these are the steps we need to follow in order to implement JSON serialization and deserialization using data contract JSON serializers. Let's switch to the Visual Studio and see the demo of the data contract JSON serializer. So here we are on Visual Studio. Here we are going to see the demo of the JSON serialization deserialization using data contract JSON serializer. So for that, first of all, we need to add these two namespaces using System.Runtime.Serialization, using System.Runtime.Serialization.Json. Here we have two classes, order class and the item class. In item class, we have 4 auto-implemented properties: ID, name, price, and quantity. And if you notice, I have decorated item class with data contract attribute and its member with the data member attribute, right? And I have also mentioned order. Order is equal to 1, order is equal to 2, order is equal to 3, order is equal to 4. Why I have mentioned order over here? Because I want to print these attributes in this fashion, in this order. Okay, now come to the order class. It has 3 attributes: order ID, order date, and the items. And if you notice, item is nothing but the list of item. Okay, now this class also I have decorated with the data contract attribute and its member with the data member. And here also I have mentioned order is equal to 1, order is equal to 2, and order is equal to 3. Okay, next we have one class program that has main method, which is an entry point of this application. Here I have just printed this statement that I'm going to give the demo of the JSON serialization deserialization using data contract JSON serializer. Okay, so here what I'm doing, I'm creating a collection of items. So for that purpose, I have written list item list is equal to new list item. The first item contains ID is equal to 1, name is equal to pencil, price is equal to 20, quantity is equal to 5, ID is equal to 2, name is equal to biscuit, price is equal to 50, quantity is equal to 2. Now this item list is created, right? Now I am going to create an instance of this order. That's what I have written: order obj order is equal to new order. Now I'm assigning values to its properties: order ID and order date. So that's what I have written: obj order dot order ID is equal to 1, obj order dot order date is equal to date time dot now dot to a string. And here what I'm doing, obj order dot items, I'm assigning this item list to it, because this item is nothing but the list of items, right? So that's what this is, the list of item I have created, and I'm assigning to the obj order dot items to it, right? Now I just want to print obj order properties values before JSON serialization. So that's what I have written this console.writeLine statement, right? Here what I'm printing: order ID, order date, and item dot count, so that it will get printed into this console window. Now for serialization process, I need to instantiate of this data contract JSON serializer class of type of order. And that's what I have written this statement: data contract JSON serializer obj dcjs is equal to new data contract JSON serializer type of order. Okay, next statement, what I'm doing, I'm creating a stream object. So for that purpose, I have written a stream obj stream is equal to file.open @ data files order.json file mode.create. Okay, and then in the next statement, I am going to do serialization. So for that purpose, I have written obj dc.js.write object, in which I am passing two parameters: obj stream and obj order. Obj stream, this is nothing but the stream object, and obj order that we have created above, right? So this is the object that we want to do serialize. That's what I need to pass it over here as a second parameter. Okay, so this statement will complete this serialization process. As a part of this serialization process, it will convert. So as a part of serialization process, this statement, what it will do, it will convert .NET object to a stream of bytes, and it will write to this file order.json, which is kept in d:"data drives folder, right? Okay, now in order to depict the deserialization process, I am assigning null value to obj order. That's what I have written. Obj order is equal to null. And here also what I'm doing, I'm opening this order.json file. That's what I have written. A stream obj stream is equal to file.open. This is the file location, and then file mode.open, right? Now what I'm doing in the next statement, I'm going to use this read object. So basically read object, what it will do, it will read data from the JSON and converting into the .NET object as a part of the deserialization object. So basically we will be getting an object, and that object I am just casting to the order type and storing into this variable O, which is nothing but of the order type only. Okay, so that is the deserialization process happened. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to print this obj order property values after deserialization process. So that's what I have written. Console.writeLine. This is the obj order, obj order.order id, order date, obj order.order date, item count, obj order.item.count. So it will get printed all this information into this console window. Okay, let me execute this and see the output. Okay, so output got appear into this console window, and the first statement got printed: JSON serialization deserialization demo using DataContractJsonSerializer. Print obj order properties values before JSON serialization. So before JSON serializer, what is the values for the object properties? So it got printed like order id is equal to 1, order date is equal to this one, item count is equal to 2, and then print obj order properties values after JSON deserialization. It got printed order id 1, order id 1, order date this one, and item count is equal to 2. So if you see, it matches before JSON serialization and after JSON deserialization. Let me open the JSON file that was created as a part of the serialization process. Okay, so if you see, this is the order.json got created, order id, order date, and items. And if you see this item, it start with this square bracket, right? So id is equal to this is the first object up to here, and this is the second object, right? It got printed. JSON serialization deserialization using System.Text.Json.Jsonserializer. So here we need to just follow 4 steps for JSON serialization and deserialization using System.Text.Json.Jsonserializer. Okay, so as a part of the step 1, we need to add System.Text.Json.dll library as a reference to the project. Step 2, add the following namespace. So before writing a program, we need to add this namespace System.Text.Json. Step 3, use JSON Serializer.serialize or JSON Serializer.serialize async method to serialize an object to a string. So we do have two options. One is the synchronous way, and the second option is the asynchronous way. So for synchronous way, we need to use the serialize method. For asynchronous way, we need to use serialize async method. Step 4, use JSON Serializer.deserialize or JSON Serializer.deserialize async method to deserialize an object from a JSON string. So here also we have two choices. Number 1, JSON Serializer.deserialize. So this is the synchronous way. And the second one is the JSON Serializer.deserialize async way. So this is for the async way. So asynchronous way. Note, JSON serialize is a static class. Thus, serialize, serialize async, deserialize, and deserialize async are static methods. Okay, so here we are on Visual Studio. Here we are going to see the demo of the JSON serialization, deserialization using System.Text.Json. So first of all, we need to import this namespace, System.Text.Json. Here we have two classes, class order and class item. Class item is having 4 auto-implemented properties: ID, name, price, and quantity. And order is 3 auto-implemented properties: order ID, order date, and items. And item is nothing but the list of items. Okay. Now there is a class program which has main method, which is an entry point of this application. Here I have written this console.writeLine statement to print this statement into the console window, and that's what I have written this statement. Okay, so here what I'm doing, I'm just creating an instance of the collection of the item. So that's what I have written: list item, item list is equal to new list item, and here I have added 2 items. item number 1 and item number 2. So item number 1 has id is equal to 1, name is equal to pencil, price is equal to 20, quantity is equal to file, whereas item 2 is having id is equal to 2, name is equal to biscuit, price is equal to 50, and quantity is equal to 2. Next, I have created an instance of this order. That's what I have written. Order obj order is equal to new order, and then assigned its properties order id and order date some values to it. For example, I have written obj order dot order id is equal to obj order dot order date is equal to date time dot now dot to a string, and here obj order dot items is equal to item list. Here item list is nothing but collection of the items, and that's what I am assigning to here in under this item array, right? In order to serialization process, first we need to create an stream object. For that purpose, I have written a stream obj stream is equal to file.open d data files order.json file mode.create. So it will give the stream object. And in the next statement, I'm just going to use the serialize method of JSON serialized class, and we are passing two parameters to it. Obj stream that we created here, and then obj order we have created here. So this obj order is going to participate in the serialization process. So this object will get converted into the stream of bytes, and then it will be written into this order.json file, which is going to be placed at the data files folder. Now, in order to show the demo, what I am going to do, I am just going to assign null value to obj order so that it will be having the null value. In the next statement, I am just going to open this order.json file. That's what I have written. Stream obj stream is equal to file.open d data files order.json file mode.open. Then I'm just going to reading the data from the JSON using this deserialize class, and then converting into the .NET object as a part of the deserialization process. That's what I have written. JSON Serializer, Deserializer, and we are passing obj stream, and which type it is going to get converted, that's what we need to mention over here, type. So that's what I have written, order over here. So it will convert to the order, and we are going to store into this obj order variable, which is nothing but of the order class type, right? And then once this object gets created after the deserialization process, what we are going to print into this console window, and that's what I have written. Order id obj order dot order id order date obj order dot order date item counts obj order dot items dot count, and then I'm just writing the console dot write line statement. Okay, let me execute this and see the output. Okay, so output got appear into this console window. Here we are seeing the JSON serialization deserialization demo using System.Text.Json. Print obj order properties values after JSON deserialization. So here we are seeing the order id is equal to 1, order date is equal to this one, item count is equal to 2. So this object got recreated after JSON deserialization, and we are getting the value, right? So this JSON serialization and deserialization works with the help of System.Text.Json. JSON serialization, deserialization using Newtonsoft.Json. Here we just need to follow 4 to 5 steps for JSON serialization, deserialization using Newtonsoft.Json. Here we have these first two steps are the common steps. Step 1, add the Newtonsoft.Json.dll library as a reference to the project. Step 2, add following namespaces Newtonsoft.Json. So these two steps as a common steps. Now we have two choices. Either we can go for the JSON convert static class, or we can go for the JSON serializer class. With JSON static class, we need to follow this step 3 and step 4. The step 3, use JSON convert.serialize object method to serialize an object to a string. In step 4, use JSON convert.deserialize object of type T method. Step 4, use JSON convert.deserialize object method to deserialize an object from a JSON stream. Note, JSON convert is a static class. The serialize object and deserialize objects are static methods. Okay, the second way, JSON serializer class, where we need to follow step 3, step 4, and step 5. In step 3, we need to create an instance of the JSON serializer. In step 4, we need to use its serialize method to serialize an object to a string. Step 5, we need to use deserialize method to deserialize an object from a JSON string. Let's switch to the Visual Studio and see all these things in action. So here we are on Visual Studio. Here we are going to see the demo of the JSON serialization, deserialization with the help of Newtonsoft.Json. So first of all, what I need to do is we need First of all, we need to add this third-party library. So for that purpose, I just need to right click, go to the manage NuGet packages. Okay, so here we can write Newtonsoft.Json. So we need to type this Newtonsoft.Json. It will come Newtonsoft.Json by James Newton King. So this is the author who has written this Newtonsoft.Json. So we need to select and then we need to download it, right? So right now I have already downloaded it. That's what it is saying me uninstall. Otherwise you will be getting an option and install. Okay. So once this installation happened, it will come over here. Come here and then just open the dependencies and go to the packages. So you will be able to see Newtonsoft.Json 13.0.1, which is the latest new Newtonsoft.Json library that we have already added those things. Okay. Now once we added, then we need to add this namespace using Newtonsoft.Json, and then we need to use it in our program. So for that, what I am going to do over here, I have created two classes, order and item. Item is having 4 attributes: ID, name, price, and quantity, and order is having 3 attributes: order ID, order date, and item. Item is nothing but the list item. Okay, now there is a class program inside this main method. I'm just going to print this statement that I'm going to give the demo of the JSON serialization with the help of Newtonsoft.Json. See here what I have done first, I have created a collection of items. So for that I have written list item list is equal to new list item, and then I have added 2 items into it. First is the item ID is equal to 1, and second one is the item ID is equal to 2, and then pencil, biscuit, all those things I have written. Then I have created an instance of this order class. Then that's what I have written: order obj order is equal to new order, and obj order dot order id is equal to 1 I have assigned, and obj order dot order date, this is the current date of time I am just assigning to the order date. And in the items I am assigning this item list that we have created above here, right? So in the next statement, I am just going to use the JSON convert static class and its static method serialize object in order to serialize this object obj order. And I just wanted to do some formatting, so that's what I have written: formatting dot indented. Okay, and then whatever it is just going to return this JSON string. So that string I am data storing into this string variable, right? str JSON output, and then I'm printing into this console window. Okay, to show the demo, what I'm going to do right now over here is I'm assigning this null value to obj order. Then I'm just going to deserialize object. So deserialize object, what we are going to do, we are going to pass this str.json object that has this JSON string, right? And then it should be order type. So we need to mention this type so that it will be converted into this order, and then we are going to store these things in obj order variable, which is of the order type. And then once this object gets created after the deserialization process, what we are going to do, we are going to print its properties values. For that I have written this console.writeLine statement: order id obj order dot order id, order date obj order dot order date, item count, right? And then lastly I have written console.writeLine statement. Okay, let me execute this and see the output. Okay, so output got appear into this console window. If you see JSON serialization deserialization demo using Newtonsoft.Json, and here is the JSON string got printed, and if you see this, it is in indented format, so we are able to read it very clearly. That's what I have written here: formatting is equal to formatting dot indented. That's what it got printed in an indented fashion. And here after deserialization, order id, order date, and item count, it got printed, right? So here if you see, this is the item is having 2 item 1, and this is the item 2, and here we are printing item count is equal to 2, and that's what it got printed, right? So this is one way in Newtonsoft.Json where we have using JSON convert class, where we have used JSON convert class, and we have used serialize object for serialization and deserialize object for deserialization. Right now we are going to see the demo of JSON serialization deserialization demo using the JSON Serializer class. Here we are going to see the demo of the JSON serialization deserialization using Newtonsoft.Json.Jsonserializer class, right? So for that we have to add this namespace using Newtonsoft.Json, and we have this two classes, order and item. Order is having order ID, order date, and item is nothing but the list of items, and this is the item where we have four item properties: ID, name, price, and quantity. Now there is a class program inside that main method we have, where we have written this console.writeLine statement that I'm going to give the demo of the Newtonsoft.Json, how that JSON serialization deserialization happens. For that I have written this statement. So what this statement does, it will create a collection initializer of list of items. And in the next statement, what I have written, I have instantiated this order class and then assign value to it. Here what I'm doing, here I'm instantiating order class. That's what I have written. Order obj order is equal to new order, and obj order dot order id is equal to 1, obj order dot order date is equal to date time dot now dot to a string, obj order dot items is equal to item list. So basically I have filled all these properties value to it. I have assigned the value to all the properties of this object. Now, as a part of the serialization process, we need to create an instance of this JSON serializer. That's what I have written. JSON serializer is equal to new JSON serializer, and then I am just going to use this using declaration, in which I have written a stream writer sw is equal to new stream writer d data files order.json, and then using a statement in which I have written JSON writer obj writer is equal to new JSON text writer, and here I am passing this a stream writer object, right? And in the next statement, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use this serialize method in order to serialization. Here what I'm going to do, here I'm going to use this serialize method to serialize the object. So for that purpose, what I'm writing, serializer.serialize obj JSON writer and obj order. Obj order will participate in the serialization process. It will get converted into a stream of bytes, and then it will be written into this order.json file. So now this serialization process completes. In order to deserialization, what I'm going to do, I'm just first assigning this null value to obj order, so that whenever we are going to create a new object using deserialization, we will be keeping this object value into this variable. That's what previously I am just going to assign null value to it. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create an stream reader object. So stream reader, and using declaration, so using declaration stream reader sr is equal to new stream reader, and I have given the path of the JSON file. And then using a statement, I am creating an object of the JSON text reader. So JSON text reader, and here I am passing this stream reader to it. So that's what I have written. JSON reader is equal to obj JSON reader is equal to new JSON text reader. And here what I'm going to do, I'm just going to deserialize. I'm going to use deserialize method of the JSON serializer. That's what I have written, serializer.deserializer obj JSON reader, and it will get converted to the order type. That's what I have mentioned here, order type over here, right? And it will store these values into the obj order variable, which is of the order type. And then finally what I'm going to do, I'm just going to print this order id, order date, and item.count into this console window. Okay, let me execute this and see the output. Okay, so output got appear into this console window. Here we are seeing the statement JSON serialization deserialization demo using Newtonsoft.Json. And here we have written this statement, print obj order properties value after JSON serialization. So whatever the value that we are able to see over here, that is got printed from the object that was created as a part of the JSON serializer. So that has values of order id is equal to 1, order date is equal to 11/9/2022, 21/04/39, item count is equal to 2. Data contract JSON Serializer versus System.Text.Json.Jsonserializer versus Newtonsoft.Json.Json.Serializer. Here we are going to see the difference among data contract JSON Serializer, System.Text.Json.Jsonserializer, and Newtonsoft.Json.Json.Serializer. All three support JSON. Data contract JSON Serializer supports .NET 3.5 and above version. System.Text.Json.Jsonserializer supports .NET Core 3.0 and above version. whereas Newtonsoft.Json.Json.Serializer supports .NET 2.0 and ever version. So whenever we are going to use JSON Serializer, we need to see which .NET version currently our project is, and based on that we can choose which JSON serialization and deserialization techniques can be applied over there. DataContractJsonSerializer has less performance compared to System.Text.Json.Serializers and Newtonsoft.Json.Json.Serializer. System.Text.Json Serializers had best performance, whereas Newtonsoft.Json.Json.Serializer has better performance. During deserialization, DataContractJsonSerializer does case-insensitive property name matching by default, whereas System.Text.Json.Serializer default is case-sensitive, which gives better performance since it's doing an exact match. Whereas Newtonsoft.Json.Json.Serializer during deserialization, it does support case-insensitive property name matching by default. So it has less performance compared to JSON serializer of System.Text.Json. In a nutshell, Newtonsoft.Json.Json Serializer has many features compared to DataContractJsonSerializer and System.Text.Json.Json Serializer. Whenever we are working .NET Core and .NET Core 3.0 and ever version, we ideally go for the System.Text.Json.Json Serializer for better performance and better security. Whereas Newtonsoft.Json.Json Serializer can be used, but it has better performance, not the best. Now that brings me to end of my session. To sum up, in this video we saw what JSON is and how to do JSON serialization and deserialization in a program by different JSON serialization technology like DataContractJsonSerializer, System.Text.Json.Jsonserializer, and Newtonsoft.Json.Jsonserializer and JSONConvert. Then we saw difference among these three JSON serialization technology and talked about when to use which. That's all for this video, guys. If you like this video, hit the like button, share it with your friends and colleagues, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done already. Thanks for watching. See you next video.